Hello and welcome to our second live session here from Cavan Institute in our virtual open week. This lunchtime session will have a look at what a traineeship is and what an apprenticeship is. Traineeships and apprenticeships are a little bit different than the other courses that we deliver here in Cavan Institute, so we're going to give you a bit of an overview as to what they are. My name is Emma O'Hart and I'm the Healthcare Traineeship Tutor, and we are going to speak to Michelle Baker, who is our Recruitment Officer with Training Services. We will speak to Siobhan Duffy, who is our Training Advisor for the Apprenticeship Programme, and we'll also speak to Pauric White, who is our Commis Chef Apprenticeship Tutor, and we'll hope then to speak to one of his students as well, Aaron, all going well. Now, it is a 30-minute session, so we are wary of that, and I would ask that if any of you have any questions, you will see just there towards the top of the screen, there is a little bubble with a question mark in it that you can type in your question there, and we will do our best to answer all of the questions towards the actual end of the actual session, if that's all right. Our details will be shared throughout the presentation, so my details, Siobhan, Michelle, Pauric's details. So if it's a thing that you want to contact us directly, you can do that. Take a screenshot or take note of it. So I'll hand you over to Michelle there, if we can get her over. Michelle is our Recruitment Officer for the Cavan and Monaghan ETB, and she does the recruitment end of the traineeships, and I work very closely with Michelle.
Hello everyone, thank you Emma. You're all very welcome to this exciting event live today. First of all, I want to maybe just give you a breakdown of what is a traineeship, and maybe to explain the difference between an apprenticeship and a traineeship. So people maybe are more familiar with what is an apprenticeship, but individuals need to be employed to be an apprentice. For a traineeship, you're actually in training. So that means that part of your learning will be done with Cavan Institute, and part of your training then is done with an employer. So if we could move to the slide then to what is a traineeship. I'm going to continue on, and hopefully the presentation will catch up with my speaking. So traineeships are based around industry need. So what that really means is that employers have contacted us to decide maybe what qualifications that they need. They use it as a recruitment tool to employ a lot of new staff. So about 80% of students that come through traineeships actually go into employment after they have completed their courses. So sometimes that's with the host company, and sometimes it can be actually with another employer. In the main, the qualifications are between 6 to 18 months long, and the QQI qualifications that individuals receive can be between a level 4 right up to a level 6 qualification. But I will give you a little bit more information on the different traineeships and the level of qualifications that you can achieve within each one of them. When you're on the course, you can be entitled to a company bursary, or you may be entitled to a social welfare payment or a training allowance if you are in receipt of a social welfare payment. So what we do before you enter into a traineeship is that we meet with you, and we do an interview, and we go through to make sure that you're eligible for the course and that the programme is a suitable programme for you. So I suppose not to have maybe the word interview can put people off. But really it is just a conversation with myself and the coordinator for the course to make sure that it's the right option for you, or to talk you through maybe other options that are available to you. So why choose a traineeship? What's the benefits to a traineeship over maybe other PLC courses or other types of training? So one of the main things that I suppose jumps out is there's absolutely no course fees. In addition to that, you're paid your examination costs are all covered. You might get uniforms or PPE, you might get toolboxes, a whole host of different equipment and resources that can be provided to you for the course. It is funded through European Social Fund monies, so that does mean that we need to ensure that you are an EU national, or that you have right to work or study in Ireland. Individuals from Northern Ireland are still able to apply for the courses as well, and to get the courses fully funded. So before you would start the course, we would look at what your situation is, and if you are in receipt of a social welfare payment, then we take over that payment and we would pay you a training allowance. Now that training allowance sometimes is more than what your social welfare payment would be, but it's never less, but sometimes it can be more. Other than financial supports, we could provide you with travel, perhaps meal or accommodation allowances. And also, because these are full-time training courses, you could also have access to the National Childcare Scheme. So before you would start, we would sit you down and have a conversation with you around what financial supports and your eligibility to the programme. Just to note, it is open to individuals who are employed as well as to those who are seeking work, and you do not need to be in receipt of a social welfare payment to get these courses for free. It is open to anybody who is deemed a school leaver, so that would be individuals who are over 16 years of age, but it goes right up, there's no upper age limit, and I believe the eldest that we would have had on our traineeships to date has been 68 years of age. So, you know, these courses are open to many different people, and it may be that you've been impacted because of COVID-19 and maybe are looking at a career change. Maybe the kids are now in school and you feel that you're ready to do something for yourself and get back into education. Or maybe you're a school leaver that just feels maybe that the college route isn't for you, and this is another way of getting a qualification and also getting work experience. So many times I have heard people say to me, you know, I've been to college and I've got the qualification, but I don't have the experience, so can't get the job. On the other side of that, I have people, you know, who've maybe got the work experience and don't have the qualification, and the employers may be looking for the qualification. So this is a great way to get the work-based learning to improve your employment prospects. So you're actually going to get the qualification and have your classroom learning, but then that's backed up and supported by your work placement learning, and a minimum of 30% of a traineeship, the actual learning for that is done in the employer premises. So many times individuals are actually get offers of employment whilst they're in the course, or at the end of the course having completed a traineeship. So it's an excellent way to get both your work experience and a qualification. So I wanted to list down through then the different traineeships that are offered. So we've got lots of different types of traineeship, and as I say, they're over a variety of different levels and duration. So just to quickly run through, we've got an engineering qualification. It's a level 5 traineeship, and it's over 9 months, and we do that in conjunction with CombiLift. We've got advanced building design with 3D CAD, that's a level 6 QQI qualification. It's over 9 months, and that's in conjunction with a company called Integra in Monaghan. We have digital marketing, which is delivered over 9 months, and it's a level 5 qualification. Laboratory assistant, which is again a level 5 qualification over 9 months. Now those first 4 are delivered in Monaghan Institute. We have our outdoor activity instructor, which is delivered out in Tana. It's 10 months long and it's a level 5. And then we have our HGV professional driver, and it's delivered over 6 months, and that covers your Arctic and your rigid lorry driving. Where I want to focus now today is on the traineeships that are offered within Cavan Institute. So the first one that we have is a Youthwork qualification, and it's a QQI level 6, and it's 18 months long. Last year, this year in March of 2021, we finished our first Youthwork traineeship, and a lot of the guys are now applying for roles within Youthwork. If you're somebody who maybe wants to be that advocate for youth, to be that voice for young people, for work within the community, then this is maybe the qualification for you. You'll cover modules like addiction, conflict management, community work, community development, and that in practice and in theory. And a lot of the guys have done their work placement within Youthwork Ireland, Bounce Back, Feroga, within maybe schools. So that's the type of work placement that individuals have gone into. Lots of other kind of workshops in suicide awareness and in maybe mental health. So there's a lot of additional courses that individuals have done from that programme as well. In addition, there is the option in the Youthwork programme to apply for the Erasmus Plus. So if you maybe wanted to work within Europe and go off and do some paid international work experience, then that can be an option to apply for that after you've completed the Youthwork qualification. Hospitality then is another one. It's a level 5 qualification, 10 months long. Lots of jobs at the moment as hospitality opens back up, lots of jobs happening within this sector. And really this qualification is an overarching qualification. So you're covering things like front of house, you're doing your barista skills, you're doing reception duties, booking people in, customer service. So it's a really excellent way to move forward within that particular sector. And it allows you to maybe taste different aspects within the within the industry to then decide maybe where you want to focus in. And we work with a lot of the different hotels here in Cavan and in Monaghan in that qualification. I'm not going to give you too much information on healthcare in that Emma will be following up as a speaker after me in that, but just to say that it's a QQI level 5 qualification. It's 9 months long, and again we work with a lot of the nursing homes and residential homes within Cavan and Monaghan for that qualification. So you will hear more on that particular one from Emma after myself. Okay. So just I suppose what's the next steps? So if this course or any of these traineeships are something that you're interested in, first thing that we need you to do is to complete an application form, and you can do that just by contacting me, and you'll see my details there, mobile and email. It's a short application form, just allows me to check your eligibility to the course, and if there's something maybe missing, now's the time. The applications are open. Get that application form in, and I can, if you're missing maybe a sort of level of qualification or something, or a bit of work experience, then we can look at that now to get you prepared for starting these courses in September. There is an interview, but again, as I say, it's a conversation. Please do not panic at the word interview, and sometimes it can be really off-putting to people, but it really is a conversation just to make sure that the course is going to meet your expectation and it's the right choice. We are going to have an information session, a briefing on the 10th of August, and anybody that has applied will get invited to that. If it's something that you're interested in, give me your details and I'll make sure that you get an invitation to that. We do hope that that's a face-to-face event, but obviously time will tell whether we're able to actually have that as a face-to-face event. So watch out for that. We'll have that advertised in the newspapers. So next of all, I want to hand over to Emma. Emma is the coordinator for the healthcare qualification, but she's also the main tutor on the course. Emma, not only this will be her third academic year teaching on this qualification, but Emma is also coming as a qualified nurse. So it's really excellent that she's able to provide us with the, I suppose, current industry knowledge, as well as sort of her experiences as a tutor. So we're delighted to have Emma on board in this traineeship, and Emma, I'll hand over to you.
So thanks, Michelle, for that. So yeah, so I am the tutor for the healthcare traineeship course. The qualification that you'll get at the end of this is a healthcare service skills. So it's a level 5, and you will be able to work as a healthcare assistant or a healthcare attendant at the end of this course. Now, as a healthcare attendant or a healthcare assistant or as a carer, you can work in the public sector, which is within the HSE, or you can also work in the private sector. So that is any healthcare facility that is provided by the private sector. So they're your private run nursing homes, agencies, or home care support companies, wherever area you can work in. Now, in relation to healthcare attendants, this role is evolving throughout the years. There is huge demand for it, particularly after COVID-19, just like what Michelle said, particularly in the hospitality sector. This is a sector that you will be able to get a job in, no doubt. You will have be able to get an option in a job, whether it's in the private or the public sector. So please bear that in mind when you are applying for the likes of this traineeship. Now, just kind of going over what Michelle had said there, one of the big advantages of a traineeship is that there are no course fees. So with that being said, with the fact that your course fees are paid for you, attendance is extremely important. It is a 38-week course. So what that means is that it starts in September and runs through to May, similar to the other courses that are run here in Cavan Institute. But the timetable is a little bit different in that you don't get your traditional midterm and that off. You do get Christmas and bank holidays and weekends off. We're not that hard on you, but you're back after Christmas pretty soon as well. So it's a 38-week course. It starts from September. It's Monday to Friday. It's 9 to 4 and it runs through to May. Now, what I really like, and from a nursing background, what I really like about this, the model of the traineeship model, is that there is increased work experience with it. So in the 38 weeks that you are actually in work experience, in the 38 weeks of the actual course, you have 12 weeks of work experience. All right. So we work with you through September, October and November with actually getting you ready to go out into work experience. And there are a number of things that happen there when that actually to try and prepare you to get out into work experience. We work with you to help you get your work experience by ensuring that you have your Garda vetting and the additional certificates like your patient moving and handling to ensure that you are safe to move and to reposition patients, your cardiac first response, and also another course called MAPA, which is the Management of Actual and Potential Aggression. So infection prevention and control has always been a huge element of what we do in any healthcare facility. But because of COVID-19, the public have very much become aware of the implications of how important infection prevention and control is in relation to your hand hygiene and also in relation to your PPE. So I would make sure that as your tutor, you would have the skills to be able to go into your work experience with the skills to protect yourself against all healthcare associated infections, not just your COVID-19. So the trainees that were currently out, they're currently out on placement now at the minute actually. And so how we ensured that we got them out safely into their work experience was we ensured that they had the adequate infection prevention and control skills completed and that they were competent so that they were safe to carry that out themselves, but also that they enrolled in the COVID screening programme within the nursing homes or residential care facilities that they were working in. And we did over 200 screens on the trainees that are currently out in work experience. And I'm very proud of it, and they should be very proud that they all tested negative on each and every occasion that they were screened for COVID-19. And what that meant was that they were screened with all of the other healthcare workers in the residential care facilities, so that they weren't asymptomatic of COVID-19 and potentially were going into a workplace environment with vulnerable patients. All of the trainees this year were also offered the COVID-19 vaccine, which was extremely important. And I'm just conscious in relation to time, we're talking a lot about traineeships and not a lot about apprenticeships. So I'll just finish up here and I'll hand you over to Siobhan. We are very lucky in Cavan Institute that we have wonderful facilities. We have 3 practical rooms that do simulate the healthcare work environment very well. We have hospital beds, we have mannequins, we have hoists, stand-in frames, incontinence wear, bedpan washers, everything that simulates the workplace environment, so that when you come to me as a trainee, we do a lot of theory-based practice. We do the skills in the skills demonstration rooms, so that then when you do start to complete your 12-week of work experience, that a lot of our trainees have been offered part-time employment even after their first 2 weeks. But the majority of them then go on to gain full-time employment in the places where they actually get their work experience. I can't teach, care and compassion and empathy. That is within you yourself, but I can put the theory into practice, and that's there then where you would go with that into your career as a healthcare worker or as a healthcare attendant. I don't have a trainee with me today because they're in work experience, and Brian has just told me there that I have a few more minutes, which is great. So I'm just going to read out a reflection that was sent in to me as part of an assessment from a trainee, and I really don't think that I can say it in better words. So this was from a current trainee who was just completing their final week in work experience, and her reflection has said that her family and friends and partner are so proud of her, and she feels like a whole new person who is skilled and confident in her work in the wonderful field of healthcare. She will soon get her first qualification, and she can say that she went to college. Patients feel comfortable with her, and that she feels comfortable with patients. A year ago, she was living at home on €100 per week. She wasn't working, and her confidence was quite low at that time. Today, with the help of her tutor and the staff and residents of the nursing home where she completed her work experience, she can now say that she has gone to college. She is renting and living independently. She's renting an apartment and living independently, and she was able to buy groceries for the first time without actually checking her bank account. So I think that's really all I can say in relation to the healthcare traineeship, in that reflecting on what that trainee has said is that it is a wonderful opportunity for anyone starting off their career in healthcare. I'm going to hand you over now to Siobhan, who will review and inform us of the apprenticeship programs that are available in Cavan Institute with Pauric White. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Emma. I'm one of the training advisors with Cavan Monaghan ETB, and along with my colleagues Caroline and Irene, we coordinate all activities for apprenticeship in the CMETB region. So we're just going to look now at what is an apprenticeship. The main thing with an apprenticeship is that you are employed. So you're employed by somebody in the trade, and they are sending you on to go and do your apprenticeship. So an apprenticeship is a program of structured education and training which formally combines and alternates between the workplace and within a learning environment. It is a dual system, a blended combination of on-the-job employer-based training and off-the-job training. So as I said to you again, you must have an employment with a SOLAS registered employer. So we'll just look now at the key features of an apprenticeship. So the main thing with apprenticeship again is that you earn as you learn, because you're earning a wage all the time. It's industry led. The pre-2016 apprenticeships, there's always feedback coming both ways from from SOLAS and from the employers, how to update the apprenticeship and bring it up to date for modern technology. With the new apprenticeships 2016 plus, again, they have been led by industry and what is required in the industry. So they lead to levels 5 to 10 on the national framework qualifications. They're between 2 to 4 years in duration, and there's a minimum of 50% on the job learning. But they're very flexible. So you have online, blended, off the job learning in increments and blocks. The state funds the off the job learning, and apprentices for the trades, as in the pre-2016, they're paid an allowance while they're in college. The post-2016s are paid all the time by their employer. So apprentices are employed under a formal contract of employment, which must be full-time, and they are paid for the duration of their apprenticeship. So we'll just look now at some of the ways that apprenticeship is expanding. So across all of these areas, from construction to ICT, logistics, and the hospitality industry, originally there was 27 apprenticeships. There's now 58 plus, and more are in development at all the time. So we just go on to our next one there. I'll just explain to you a little bit about the pre and post 2016 apprenticeships. So the pre-2016s were a path to skilled occupations in a range of industries and sectors such as construction, as I mentioned there, engineering, motor, electrical, carpentry and joinery. They're normally 4 years in duration, and that's a minimum, and there's 7 phases between on the job and off the job. So phases 1, 3, 5 and 7 are on the job with the employer, and phases 2, 4 and 6 are in a college. So normally phase 2 is with the local ETB, and then phases 4 and 6 are in the colleges, so the IOTs or the universities. And they're continuously being intake, so there's always apprentices registering for the pre-2016s. The post-2016s are typically between 2 to 4 years in duration. Again, the qualification levels, QQI level 5 to 10 on the national framework. There are various methods of delivery, and again, it's looking at the individual ones, and I'll show you in a few minutes where you can look at those. So online and in training centres, again, led by industry bodies. As we'll talk about the Commis chef in a few minutes, that was led by Kerry ETB, developing chefs from Commis to chef de partie to sous chef, and they were all developed over the last number of years. So the intake for these is normally once or twice a year, and the structure depends very much on the apprenticeship. So for example here, just how it runs, it's across 2 years, it's a level 6 qualification. So there's 4 days on the job and 1 day in college learning with Cavan Institute. That's July and August. And then 3 days the remainder of the year, 2 days in college, 2 days in college and 3 days on the job. Then the hairdressing, which is coming on board this year. So it's a 3-year one. There's 3 to 4 days on the job and then 1 to 2 days college learning with Cavan Institute. So we'll just move on now and we look at the Commis chef. This is one that's been delivered in the college part of it has been delivered in Cavan Institute. So it's a starting point for many of the professional chefs where they start as a Commis chef, they get their level 6 qualification. It's formally structured and it develops the underpinning theory, science and culinary skills. And it's under the direction of qualified and experienced chefs in the kitchens of Solus approved hotels and restaurants. And as you'll see now in a few minutes when we get talking to Pauric, our instructor and tutor is very experienced too. So what are the benefits of it? So you'll gain the knowledge and skills to prepare, cook and present a wide variety of commodities and dishes to professional standard. You'll gain internationally recognised qualifications, continue to earn while you learn, that is the model of apprenticeship with an employer of their choice, enrich their work immediately as they acquire new skills, enhance their employment prospects and career opportunities. And as I said, it's delivered in this region in Cavan Institute. So I'll just give you our contact details here on our next slide. So the next steps here are, if you want to look at apprenticeship, is to check out apprenticeship.ie. Contact our office at the FET campus here in Cavan, so apprenticeships@CMETB.ie, or phone 049 43 53922, or you can contact Caroline and myself. We're both the training advisors, and there's our emails and our phone numbers there. Now I'm going to hand you over to our resident Commis chef apprenticeship tutor. Pauric, as I said to you earlier on, has many years experience in hospitality, having come from the industry, and I let you tell him you all about that now. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Pauric White is my name. I'm the tutor instructor on the Commis Chef Apprenticeship Programme in Cavan Institute. I'll give you a little bit of background into my own industry. I've been a chef for years, many years. I had the pleasure of running my own restaurant for about 20 years, which was very successful. Brought it up to a Michelin recognition, which was a very proud moment for me, and attained that for 12 or 14 years. I always would have had a Commis chef in my kitchen for years. I was always training people. So when I saw the initiative that CMETB and Kerry ETB were bringing on a national program for Commis chef apprenticeship, I thought to myself, this is could be an in here for me to do something that I love and I'm very passionate about. to impart the knowledge that I've learned over the years and bring young chefs on, which in a very needed industry. So to get them up to speed, get them trained really well, give them the tools that industry is looking for, and things that they need when they get out into industry, and that's basically what the apprenticeship is about. Siobhan, thank you very much for your presentation there. I think it's explained the apprenticeship program really well, directly from you have to gain employment is the first thing you need to do is secure employment, and be sure that employer is happy to put you on the Commis Chef apprenticeship program, and through the remit that the program's initiatives are led out with, that you work for 3 days with the employer, and you get paid for 5 days. 3 days are with the employer, and 2 of those days are with me in the Cavan Institute. As you can see behind me there, the facilities, that's the actual training kitchen itself that we use. They all have their own individual pods. It's very well equipped, extremely well equipped, and that's one thing. The equipment there that we use, it's second to none. It's exceptional. It's only opened last year, the kitchen, so it's very well worthwhile training in it. And the other thing that we have, I suppose, in our benefit with regard to the Commis Chef apprenticeship program, is our industry links. So we have very strong industry links with all the local hotels, with all the local restaurants, local cafes, we have nursing homes. So it's a very diverse program with regard to Commis Chef apprenticeship. It doesn't just target one particular chef. It can be very diverse, as I said. So it can fit a lot of the industries that are within our region. So, for instance, in the program that we've come through already, we're just coming to the end of our first program, to the qualification of the level 6 in our culinary arts. And the students themselves come from different backgrounds of hospitality. So we have people that are in nursing homes, we have people that are in restaurants, we have people that are in hotels. So the program is tailored towards that. We also have different age groups as well, which is brilliant, because we have a lot of people that have a lot of experience in the hospitality trade, but they never got round to getting actual official training. They never got their papers, they never got their qualifications. We have people within the program now at the minute that were straight out of Leaving Cert and came in and they're training on the program as well. So the actual program, the way it's written, is quite diverse like that. I'm just going to go through a couple of the actual modules that we have now. The first 3 weeks that we would have on the program is our induction, and straight away when you do your induction process, you're bringing value back to your industry. Straight away, you're learning straight away. So for the first 3 weeks of induction is 3 weeks full-time, 5 days in Cavan Institute. You're going to cover your manual handling course there, you're going to cover your fire safety course there, and you're going to cover your food safety. So 3 very important modules that if you're starting off to be a Commis Chef, you need those. So you're going to enter the kitchen, you're going to be entering in an industrial kitchen with all those qualifications straight away, and they're mandatory. They're going to have to be provided by your employer anyway. So it's great to be able to say to employers that they've those covered already. Some of the other modules that we're going to cover. So semester 1, we've got health and safety as well in there. We've got culinary skills. We've got larder based, we've got classic cuisine, pastry baking and techniques, and applied nutrition for menu planning. That brings us to semester 1. So with those, so you can see with those, you've got your culinary skills, classic cuisine, pastry baking and techniques. It's quite a practical, semester 1 is quite a practical semester, so it is. Then we move on to semester 2, which is computer essentials, scientific principles, and culinary technologies. So that's actually the science of food and how it cooks and what happens when we cook food. Very interesting one as well. Food and beverage service, a very important module. It gives us the experience of what the front of house and what their role is in the hospitality sector. So that opens the eyes of chefs. It gives them a great learning. International cookery is another program which is very, very diverse as well. Loads of different cooking techniques in there. And then a very interesting one that brings us to the end of year one is product development. So the students actually develop an individual product of their own and find a market for that. And it's a really strong learning ability of their interpersonal skills that they have to present that product to their peers and to other tutors. So it's very important that it gives them courage. It gives them the courage to be able to stand up in front of a group and present something that they've developed themselves. Year two, then we've gone into we develop our HACCP through food safety, volume food production, global cuisine, interpersonal skills. Again, developing our interpersonal skills, developing our independence, and it gives us a little bit of courage. History and development of gastronomy, which is a very, very important one. Buffet skills. Then we're going into semester 4 then is our last semester, leading us up to nearly our 2 years finished. So we've got applied nutrition for menu design, creative pastry and techniques, business practice for hospitality, culinary entrepreneurship, and then our capstone event then is our culinary capstone event, where the students are the people that the students take over and they develop their own event. So everything from the service to the style of food to the theme of the event, it's completely their event, and they do write-ups on it, and it's an exceptional event for them to build their knowledge of running an actual event. So I would always say about the actual program itself that it certainly is teaching for the present. So it certainly is teaching for the present what's needed today in the hospitality sector. But the program itself is very well written, that it has a good eye on your future. So there's some elements of the modules in there that you might say, you know, are they relevant to me? Are they of relevance to me? Do I need them at the minute? Possibly not at the minute. But as you can see there, you've got business practices there, and you've got culinary entrepreneurship. So we have loads of entrepreneurships among us, and that really has come out, the entrepreneur in their product development, that when they did do their product development in year one, that they had to find a market for it, and the entrepreneur really came out in the students. So it's very, very interesting to come across things like that you have the entrepreneurs coming out there. Again, as I said, you might not use it for 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 10 years, but if you wanted to develop your own business, then after that you're underpinning the skills of that. That's the main basis of the program, really. The 2 days that you spend in Cavan Institute with me, we go through the theory elements, taught through practical classes in the college, and then they get underpinned out in the industry through the on-the-job assessment part of the program. So what happens is, in year one we have 6 on-the-job assessments. They happen out in your employment, and then in year 2 we have 4 on-the-job assessments that happen out in the industry. But I would suppose that there's no better person really to have a chat with now. I'm going to bring in a student, Aaron McCormack, who has just come through the program actually. He's looking very much forward to getting back into industry when it opens up again, and finishing off on his on-the-job assessments, as all of the students have to do. They've just tidy up on their on-the-job assessments, and then that'll finish their qualification then for their level 6 culinary arts. So if I could ask Aaron to come in there now, if he unmutes there, and he could come in there now, and he could just give us a little bit of an indication as to how he got on over the past 2 years. And actually with Aaron, it's the past 3 years, because he's used the level 5 professional cookery program within Cavan Institute to attain a level 5, and then springboard on to the Commis Chef apprenticeship program after that. So if we have Aaron there, it would be great to get your insight into and what you thought of the program, Aaron.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, can everybody hear me?
We can, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll start off by just giving a small bit of background on myself. So when I left secondary school, I started actually under Shane Troy here at Cavan Institute doing forensic science, because that's what I wanted to do. And I realised at that time it just wasn't for me. So I went around and I was doing a few odd jobs here and there, and then I had a daughter, and that kind of focused me on, I need to find a career. And Cavan Institute had a great reputation for putting through chefs in their level 5 professional cookery course, and I've always enjoyed cooking. I had a bit of a passion for it, so I went on to that, and I was under Irene at the time. So she taught us kind of all the basics that every chef has to learn, the fundamentals of knives, knife use, knife safety, HACCP safety, which is health analysis and critical control points. It shows you how much damage you can do to someone if you're not careful with the way that you prepare foods and that you're using safe food handling. And then we went on, and after learning all the basics, we finished up, and I finished actually with a distinction in the course, which was a great achievement for me, because I wouldn't be very good with paperwork. That was always something that had troubled me, but it gave me a good idea of how to do paperwork at the college level. And then we went off to France as part of the course, and we trained over there for 2 weeks. I trained in a very prestigious restaurant called Le Bouchon à la Mer, and it was a great experience, and I would recommend, if you have the chance to do it, anybody do it. It was great. And then I got a job when I came back from one of my friends in the Errigal Country House Hotel, and I had an interview there with the boss. And the first thing he said to me in that interview is, would I be willing to go on a Commis chef apprenticeship that they're planning on doing in Cavan Institute? And I don't think I even let him finish the sentence, and I jumped at the chance to do it, because I was very, very intrigued by it. So we went in and we started, and it was kind of all health and safety, introduction. That has to be done at every course. And then almost straight away we got into doing some work in the kitchens. We were using the smaller kitchen, the professional cookery kitchen, for the first year, but it gave you a great insight as to what it would be like working in smaller kitchens. So if I take any benefit out of it, that would be it. And then we went, I have a massive folder full of recipes that I got from the Commis Chef Apprenticeship course that I can bring to any kitchen and use. We had a massive variety of people in there from all over Ireland, and as well all over Europe and parts of the world. We had a Brazilian chef in there, Bulgarian, Romanian, and each one of them brought in their own culture and their own foods in, that we could bounce off them and get their feedback on the food that we cook from their nations. And as Pauric had mentioned before, we done a product development. Myself, I done a red onion marmalade, but I flavoured it with lemon and ginger because there was no other red onion marmalade on the market at that time. So I decided to do it like that, and I made it, and it was lovely. And I done my project on it, and I sent it off to Pauric, and he was correcting it. And even he said, like, you could open that business tomorrow if I wanted to. It's just the kind of work that he expects of you, which is great. He was a great tutor to come in, and with all the experience that he has in industry, all the contacts that he has, and he knows good food, and it's as simple as that. So he knows if you've done something wrong, he can give you ways to adjust what you have done and make it better. He makes you record everything you do so that you know yourself where in your notes that you have gone wrong, if you have gone wrong at all. And he will always ask you, how could you make it better next time, which was always good. And if you think you can't make it better, you can, trust me. The motto for me throughout this Commis Chef Apprenticeship course was, it's always easier the second time around. And that is definitely true. I remember I was making petit fours, little chocolates I was making, and we were using tempered chocolates, and it was the most difficult thing I've ever had to do in all my life. And then I'd done it about a week later, and I had it knocked out in 15 minutes, and it was just so easy compared to the first time I had done it. It was great. And lastly, I'll get on to the Capstone Event because I don't want to keep you on too long. The Capstone Event was a culmination of everybody's work in the kitchen, from Pauric teaching us everything we needed to know in the kitchen. Michelle, who was kind of running front of house teaching and that, she was teaching us all about how to set up front of house, setting up tables, the room, making sure there's a nice ambience, the lighting, like all things that you wouldn't think of have to be done to make the experience great for your customers. And then the planning that went into it, it was, most people just get to see the food and they get to sit down and have a nice meal, but they don't get to see the work that goes into it. And it was a lot of work, but absolutely rewarding at the end of the day. It was a great event. Yeah, the culmination of everybody's work went into it, and it was months in the making, and it went off without a hitch. And if we had tried to do it again with less planning, it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work out. There was things that were going wrong, but at the end of the day, this Commis Chef apprenticeship teaches you how to think on your feet, as well as you know, planning ahead. And
yeah, it was really a worthwhile event, Aaron, wasn't it? It went down really well. All the effort that just put into it, and as you said, the background work in there, the background work with regard to it, the pricing, the costings, the sourcing of food, all that experience was there. Well, did you find that it would be all industry relevant, Aaron, that particular event?
That particular event, absolutely, because you have to design the menu yourself. Pauric has been by our side the whole way through the year, and when it came to the end, he stepped back, and this was our event. We planned it, we done everything. He didn't do a thing, didn't lift a finger. He made us order our own foods. We had to stick to a budget. We had to design our own menus. We had to design the theme of the event. We had to design the room where everyone would be seated. We had to set up how the kitchen would operate. We had to decide the kitchen brigade, so who was going to be head chef, who was going to be sous chef, where people were walking. We done it over 2 days as well, because we were meant to do it one day where half the team was front of house and half the team was in the kitchen, but we decided to do it over 2 days, so everybody got an experience of both.
Yeah. Very good, Aaron. That's a great insight to the Commis Chef apprenticeship program. I think you've encapsulated it really well there, actually, with the finishing off of the capstone. I'm just aware there that we're running over time, so we are. So if I would like to take this opportunity for everyone that logged on. It was great having you for the live event here for this afternoon. I'd like to thank all the participants and all the speakers for their for Michelle and for Siobhan and for Emma there as well, and for you, Aaron, for taking the time to log on, and for all the great information that's been provided to us with regard to apprenticeships and to traineeships that are available in Cavan Institute. And the questions and answers, there were a few there answered throughout. I was just keeping an eye on them. But if anybody has a question that they'd like to submit, there were the contact details were there on the slides there. But at cavaninstitute.ie is available there if you'd like to put in a question for any question you might have regarding apprenticeships or traineeships. So at cavaninstitute.ie, and there is a question and answer section on the new website there as well. So again, I'd just like to thank everybody for logging on. As I said, I hope you got some insight into the traineeship and the apprenticeships, and for the hospitality sector in particular, that I would be dealing with for the apprenticeship program. And thanks very much, everyone, as I said, for logging on. Thank you.